Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. Within this podcast, we're going to focus on self-improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We'll also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 261 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame. This is my second year of running. Within the first full year of running, at the age of 31, I was able to run 1,002 miles. I did that within 175 days out of the year in 2020. So me going for 1,500 miles is a 50% increase in the amount of miles as opposed to last year. And me going for 365 days this year is over a 100% increase in the amount of days I'll be running as opposed to the amount of days I ran last year. Not to mention, yet again, this year is all days in a row with no days off. Also within this time frame, I've challenged myself to run 2 major races. One of those races being an ultra marathon race, a 50K trail race. That was the Yankee Springs 50K trail race in Middleville, Michigan. I finished that on June 5th, 2021, day 156 of my journey. I was able to run that 31-mile race within 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. So I am officially an ultra runner, going to be working on improving that time and distance. But also within this time frame, I'll be running a race that is coming up here within a month, and that is the Detroit Free Press Marathon, just a regular old 26.2 mile race. But within this race, I'll be doing the Motor City Challenge, which entails me to run the competitive 1 mile and the competitive 5K the day before the actual marathon. So looking forward to all 3 of those races within this actual race series coming up here within a month. So yet again, these are challenges on top of the challenge of running the 365 days in a row and on top of going for 1,500 miles. So let's actually kind of break down into the miles and talk about that. So for the day today, I really needed to get in a more decent sized run to kind of get back into the full marathon training. Didn't get as much as I wanted in because my leg was acting up a bit and I didn't want to push it too much, but I still kind of pushed it a little bit too much. For the day today, went out and actually met up with a friend and we ran 13.3 miles for the day today, so just over a half marathon for the day. Actually a pretty good pace as well. My fastest half marathon to date so far, so it was kind of nice. I tested out some new shoes as well while going out there and running that. So like I said, for the day today, that was 13.3 miles. That put me at 26.4 miles for the week, which put me at 83.1 miles for the month, which put me at 1,196.1 miles for the year. Let's focus in quickly on these monthly miles. Every single month I challenge myself to a 100-mile challenge, and I do it in honor of a charity in which I donate money to myself, and as I also start a fundraiser in honor of that charity throughout the month to try to raise money and awareness for it. So for the first 8 months, we were able to raise money for 8 great charities. Now we're here in the 9th month, the month of September, and September is a pretty busy month, so there's a lot of things going on and a lot of causes for September, but the cause I chose for September is National Rise Syndrome Foundation. That is who the donations will be going to this month for September's 100-mile monthly challenge. I did that again because September is Rise Syndrome Awareness Month. So we chose that fundraiser for this month, and if you'd like to donate to this fundraiser for this month, you can find the link to do so on the Defining Discipline Instagram story and the Defining Discipline Facebook story, or my personal page's Instagram or Facebook story. Within those stories, just click on the donate. It'll open up another page where you're able to actually make your donations. I would like to let you guys know that all donations that get made to this fundraiser go directly to this fundraiser. Facebook is not taking any cut or portion of your donations. Other than that, I do know times are tough, so not everyone can afford to donate, and if that is the case, do not feel bad about it. But if you'd like to truly still help out, the next best thing you can do is click that share button, get as many other people's eyes on this cause as possible. We're trying to, again, raise awareness for this cause, and the best way to do it is by sharing it and asking other people as well to share it. And I think we'd be surprised on how many more donations would come in if that was the case. So if you guys can, please do your part to help out for this month's fundraiser. Other than that, we can quickly go over the word of the day for today. And we must find it. And today's word of the day is vignette. A vignette is a short written description or a brief scene in a movie or a play. A vignette. Interesting word for the day today. We are going to again screenshot it, and we are going to move on and get into today's actual episode. So today's episode 261, we're going to cut into it. It was pre-recorded earlier today on the 13.1 mile run with my buddy Nick. It is the first episode. We're just kind of talking. He kind of just talks about how he got into running, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity to record and just kind of have a conversation with him. So he is the first guest on the podcast, and it's just kind of a run and conversation about life and all that. So it's a good episode. Hope you guys enjoy, and it's getting cut in right here.
Today's episode is with first guest today, Nick Romanowski, my good friend. And we're going to sit here and talk about our running stories.
Oh, yeah.
So, tell us again.
Oh, you want me to tell it again?
Yes, tell us your story.
How I started running? Well, I quit smoking cigarettes. And I quit smoking cigarettes because I quit drinking. And made everything kind of easier. Instead of just kicking that shit out of my life. And then I watched you run because of social media. And I said, I was like, if Scott can do it, I can do it. So then I just started running like Forrest Gump. And
Janae.
yeah, I'd make it a mile, make it 2 miles, you know what I mean? I feel like I was gonna die the entire time, but push through it. And I still do that now. Whenever I start running that first, I told you, every first 5 miles. And then after that, it's like I just float. And I just zone out. It gives me a moment to focus on myself, because of family and life, you get so divided up. You don't have time to yourself, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So being out here, it seems mindless, but it's a time where some people do yoga. It centers me to stay centered. Sucks too. Whenever I can't do it, I can really tell the difference in my mental, my well-being. Like I take a week off whenever COVID was going through the house, and it was hard. I mean, I'm barely getting back into it now, and every day off it just feels like a reset. It's crazy. One of my watches stopped working randomly through this, so I'm off by a half mile on this one. But, yeah, it had a lot to do with just watching you. Kind of
Wanting to change your life.
well, see, it was crazy because it was something I didn't have to invest into immediately. I had like some pair of shoes that were shit, and some running shorts or basketball shorts, so I didn't need anything to do it. So if I gave up on it, I didn't feel like
you wasted
I lost it a whole bunch, because I hate whenever I do that. I'll buy something and I'll go, oh, I'm going to do this for sure. I've got a whole closet full of that shit. It's just things I wanted to do, things I wanted to learn. I started, and it's real hard to start. And like I said, you got the rest of your life, your kids, and your day-to-day responsibilities. It's rough.
I love what you said though about just like a way to escape and time for yourself to really think and just
Yeah,
get in the flow of things.
because you got to take your mind off of how bad it hurts at first. Because if I don't, then the whole time I'm running, I'm just
You
wanting to stop.
quit. Yeah, just wanting to
And then I
quit,
get through
wanting
that
to quit.
first, like I said, 5 miles or so. And then it's almost like a autopilot kicks in. And I haven't found my limit yet. I'm not to 30 some miles, but I feel like if I stay the course, this time next year I could be doing 30 mile run. That's,
Yeah.
kind of like that last fundraiser I did. I didn't plan on raising any money, and I ended up capping at 500. Yeah, I felt really good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
People were donating, and just kind of, gave me a sense of accomplishment, because the only thing that I feel accomplished afterwards is how I feel myself, but it's not an outward feeling, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a trophy.
Yep.
So, like, having something to say, hey, look what I did, it makes it kind of worth it. I think I'm about ready to do the marathon now.
I think you are too.
If I keep it, I'm gonna have to bring my taper up, because this is a lot right here. So tomorrow I'll probably try to run 9, go around Sterling State Park and back, which is pretty cool. I love that I'm really close to a state park like that. So if I go at 7 o'clock in the morning, I can actually see some things. And there's not a bunch of people on it. There's a lot of shade right on the water.
Nice and cool. So
Yeah, it stinks sometimes, but other than that. What made you start running, Scott? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
started with looking at my dogs and wanted to
Getting
take them
fat?
out. Yeah, and I was getting fat, and I wanted to. And I just felt like my life was going nowhere at the same time. I felt like I needed to make a change. So I remember looking at my dogs and thinking, I need to get them
Here's
out
something
there.
I can work on.
Yeah, I can get out there and exercise with them every day.
Yeah.
So was able to do that. Started with just like walking and jogging a couple miles. Then I started listening to Joe Rogan podcast, started listening to some inspirational speakers that
People that have inspired you.
made me want to get off my ass and take some responsibility for my own life.
It's a huge step.
So
People don't ever want to, like,
admit it or do it.
yeah, well, it's just, it's a big thing. It's a big thing to realize that you're your worst enemy.
Yep.
And you're the person that's probably gonna, like, I don't know, give you the most negative feelings about whatever it is that you're trying to do. You know what I mean? Like, I found, like, have you talked to family and friends? Have you have good family and friends? Not everyone does. But you can get a lot of support that way. You can gain a lot of, I can do this. Like, the big thing that got me to quit smoking, and it sounds weird, was a quit smoking app. That if I started smoking, I had to reset it. So, like, I could watch the minutes and the hours, and now the days, and now the years. Yeah, and, like, I can see, and it tells me, how much money I've saved or whatever. But, like, it's just, I've thought about
rewarding.
smoking, and I'm like, I don't want to push that button, because the only person I'm accountable to there is me. And I know if I open that Pandora's box, there's probably no shutting it for a minute.
Yeah, and just the amount of weight you're gonna feel and guilt you're gonna feel for going that long, and then
What's the point? I've never gone that long. But I blame a lot of that on drinking. You know what I mean? I didn't have as much willpower. You quit drinking, and all of a sudden, it's
That's
like,
how I feel with this run streak. It's like,
oh yeah, that's insane, dude.
now it's like I can't even give up because it's like,
Oh
I
yeah,
put so many days
you
in.
gotta make it.
Yeah,
It's like, you know, I made 200, and what do you got, 266?
261 today.
261. Like, you only got 100 days left. You're more than, you're almost, you know what I mean? Like almost
Yeah.
on the home plate. Yeah, I think I was thinking about that for next year would be my goal would be every day. Obviously, I've already screwed it up from here, and I think on the 1st of January is a good start. Yeah, for something like that.
Yeah, technically I'm on day 164 because I don't count those first 3 days because they were last year.
Oh,
In order for me to hit the 1,002 mile mark last year, I had to do 3 long days. I think I did like 3 10Ks in a row to end the year.
I was doing that for a minute. I think mainly the month of July and August, which is crazy. I was doing at least 6 a day. Usually it was between 7 and 13, and then it got to me. Then we went and ran Pato, and I got COVID like the next week. Well, family did.
I went and ran Pato.
I never went and got tested. I
Took me
should've.
out.
Yeah.
Well, we'll close this episode out for today.
Yeah.
Don't know how long it is, but thank you for joining us.
Sure there'll be
We'll
more.
have you in a future episode as well.
Probably at the race.
Yep. Till tomorrow, guys. Episode 261 is now in the books. Peace.
See you.
Now that the episode is over, I want to thank you guys so much for following along and listening. If you guys can, please give the podcast a like, a subscribe, a follow, and a share on our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok, our YouTube, and whatever podcast streaming platform you've been following along and listening on. And as for your daily discipline today, day 261, it is to get out there and to have a conversation. That is going to be your daily discipline, to go out there and actually have a good conversation. A conversation where you learn something from someone and you're interested and intrigued and invested. So go out there and have a conversation. That is your daily discipline for the day today. All right, thank you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 262. Peace out.